Let's take a trip back in time to a moment in tech history that, honestly, quietly changed everything we do today. We're talking about Oracle version 7.
This quote right here, it pretty much says it all. To really get how our digital world ticks, you've got to look at the foundations, the stuff that was built decades ago. And Oracle V7 was a huge, huge piece of that foundation. So here's our game plan. We'll start with what things were like in the early 90s, see how Oracle V7 stepped in, then we'll dive deep into the 3 big innovations that made it so special. After that, we'll see its real-world impact and wrap up with its lasting legacy.
Okay, so let's set the scene. It's the early 1990s. Businesses are digitizing like crazy. I mean, they're collecting more data than they ever thought possible, and they're hitting a massive wall. How do you manage all of it? How do you keep it secure, reliable, and actually get to it efficiently? The pressure was on, big time, to find a database that could handle this new enterprise scale.
And this created the perfect storm, really, for Oracle. They were already a big name in the game, but what they did next wasn't just an update. It was set to completely redefine the entire industry.
And that moment came in 1992. Oracle Database version 7 hits the market. And look, this wasn't just another version number. It was a massive leap forward, introducing features that today, well, we just take them for granted in any serious database system.
So what was the magic? What made Oracle V7 so revolutionary? Well, it really boils down to just three game-changing innovations that directly solved the biggest headaches developers and businesses were dealing with.
And here they are, the big 3. First, a way to put all your business rules right inside the database itself. Second, a ridiculously smart way for the database to find your data. And third, the kind of security and scale that giant organizations were desperately screaming for. Let's break each one down.
All right, first up, stored procedures. Before V7, it was kind of the Wild West. Business rules, things like how to calculate a sales discount or validate a customer's order, that logic was scattered across dozens, maybe hundreds of different applications. Stored procedures let you put all of that logic in one single secure place, the database itself. It meant the rules were finally consistent for everyone.
And this right here, this slide, shows you the difference perfectly. It's night and day. You go from this chaotic mess where rules could be different everywhere to a clean, centralized system. And get this, because you are just calling one procedure instead of sending tons of commands back and forth, it's flashed network traffic. A total game changer. Okay, innovation number 2 was the cost-based optimizer. And here's the best way to think about it. An old database was like using a paper map. It just followed one fixed route no matter what. But the V7 optimizer, it was like a modern GPS. It checks the traffic, it looks at the conditions, and it finds the fastest route for you right now. It didn't just follow a script, it was smart. It made a choice. And here's how that magic trick actually works. You ask the database a question, the optimizer instantly looks at your data, how much there is, how it's organized, and it comes up with a bunch of different ways to get you the answer. It calculates the cost for each path, and then boom, it picks the cheapest, fastest one. For huge data sets, this meant queries went from taking forever to being lightning fast. And finally, V7 delivered the security and scale that huge companies needed to trust it with their most sensitive information. It introduced roles, which made giving permissions to thousands of users actually manageable. And with things like parallel query execution, it could take a massive job, break it into pieces, and run them all at once, handling workloads that would have literally crushed older systems. Now, these technical features are cool and all, but this wasn't just happening on a whiteboard. They had a gigantic impact on the real world, becoming the invisible engine running behind some of our most critical industries.
Take airlines, for instance. They started using Oracle V7 to manage the absolutely mind-boggling complexity of global flight schedules. The performance and rock-solid reliability were exactly what they needed to, well, keep the entire world moving.
Or how about finance? V7 became the backbone for major banks. It could churn through massive volumes of transactions securely and in real time. I mean, that's absolutely essential for the integrity of our entire financial system.
And it wasn't just private companies. Governments turned to Oracle 7 too. When you're talking about protecting everything from citizen data to mission-critical intelligence, those security and scalability features made it the go-to choice.
So when you put this all together, you realize that Oracle V7 did way more than just sell a lot of copies. It completely changed what everyone expected an enterprise database could and should do. Here's the most amazing part. The core ideas from this one release back in 1992, centralizing your logic, intelligently planning queries, having robust security, that became the actual blueprint for enterprise software for the next 20, 30 years.
And that leaves us with this one. Kind of fascinating thought to chew on. The next time you use an ATM, book a flight, or pretty much interact with any large company, there's a really good chance you're touching a system whose digital DNA goes all the way back to the ideas pioneered in Oracle 7. Those principles from over 30 years ago, yeah, they're still with us today.